Hello, everybody. This is Monica. It is June 8th or 9th, depending on where you are in the world. And today I'm here with Allison Cox and Liam Phillips for a free taste of a larger series that we will be doing on embodying sex, conception, and death. Yeehaw, huge topic. Here we go.
All right.
So I am just going to start off with a little bit of background for me, and maybe Allison and Liam can chime in as well. I am a Talk to the Entity certified facilitator and an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, as are the other facilitators on this call. And I'm also a dancer and an acupuncturist, but the dancer and facilitator combination is a huge part of what really has been exciting me around this call, to play with what is embodiment and what does it mean for us to move throughout embodiment in all sorts of ways as we're asking for things to come into the world with conception, as we're receiving the sexual energies of the world, and as that embodiment is changing with death. So that's my little starter for this call. Allison and Liam, do you have anything that you'd like to throw in right away?
I'm a certified asshole, and yeah, bachelor of BS. That's bullshit. But one of the things, access consciousness, is this area called Talk to the Entities, and I think it's, from my point of view, it's one of the most amazing aspects of access, because it really means that you have to be willing to be in communion with everything, not just entities, but also with your body. And like, for me, that's really exciting. I can feel about it. I can feel my molecules starting to like clang together already, and I haven't been feeling that great all day. So I'm incredibly grateful to be on this call, because it's changing my body as we speak.
Cool.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add also a funny thing that came up with this whole thing, embodying death, is before access and talk to the entities, I kind of used to be terrified of sex, conception, and death. Like, literally, I was like, wow, I used to be so scared of all of those things, and now I am facilitating them on a call with you guys. How does it get any better than that?
Yeah, that's hilarious. How many people are scared of sex, conception, and death? So before I jump into what I'm itching to say right after that question, I just would like to say, for anybody who's unfamiliar with Access Consciousness, we are going to be using the Access Consciousness clearing statement quite a deal in this call. The clearing statement is a gibberishy sounding bunch of words that basically gets at the energy behind whatever it is that's holding something stuck in your life. It's like a little garden hose to clear out all the crap. And it's the energy that the clearing statement is that assists us with our choice to make space for something new, for new possibilities. And if you'd like more information, you can go to www.theclearingstatement.com, or you can get in touch with any of us and ask us questions, or other Access Consciousness facilitators. There's all sorts of information, but we're just going to dive right in using that. So, yay! As an example, everywhere that any of you have been scared of sex, conception, and death, would you destroy and uncreate all of that now?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
And can I add one?
Please.
Anywhere where you guys have perpetrated or created the fear of sex, conception, and death throughout any lifetime, space, dimension, or reality, would you be willing to destroy? Well,
Yes.
Yes.
good and bad, right, wrong, popcorn, ice, short boys and beyonds.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
I'll add one too.
go for it, please.
Where I'm like, oh, that brings up a good one. All this separation. So in access is kind of all about getting to oneness with everything. Consciousness includes everything, and a lot of times one of the main targets is to end all separation. So all of the separation between death, conception, and sex, and all of the separations between lifetimes will go there that you have created with conception, sex, and death. Can you all uncreate and destroy at times a godzillion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Cool.
Say something.
Yes.
I've got
May
one
I
other
say something?
Satu here. I've
Sorry.
got one. So what have you made so vital, valuable, and real about the separation of you and entities, and you from your body, and everything that is, will you now destroy?
Yes.
Yes.
Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, all night, short boys and beyonds.
Wow.
Awesome. Claudia, you had something that you wanted to mention?
Yes, I'm just sensing and observing my body. I'm hearing you with my ears. It's not getting to my brain, but my body is in absolute chaos at the moment.
How does it get any better?
Really amazing.
Cool.
It's not in my brain. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Awesome.
That's
It's really, really crazy. Wow.
You mean we can have some sort of impact on each other without understanding it? How is it possible? I have to put everything through my head computer before I can actually get it, right? So everything that is, can we destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And what a gift these bodies are. You know, that they contribute so much to our consciousness, that they are a gift that we get to play with as amazing companions in this journey, and that they're not limited to our minds or our understanding, no matter how much we would like to make them be. So everywhere that we have been trying to keep our bodies under control and make them understandable, can we destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good
Yeah.
and bad, POC and POD, all night, shorts, boys and beyonds, which brings me up to a clearing that I am just itching to say, if I can find it. Where did it go? All right, so talking about the body, a lot of the time when people are aware of their body, they are aware of what they would call the pains and suffering of their body. Now, especially with, sex and orgasm, there's the ideal that it's all bliss and pleasurable sensations. It might or might not be for you, but I have found that most of the time when people are really paying attention to their bodies, it's when something's hurting. And what else is possible? What else is possible with bodies? What else is possible for embodiment and the joy of allowing for everything to move through our bodies with ease? And here is the clearing that or the question that I'd like to put out there. So, what if you were willing to receive everything with greater intensity? And
Awesome.
everything that does not allow for that, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. We have this control freak tendency to try to understand things rather than to be swept apart by the enormous intensity of life, of everything that is. I mean, from a flower to a vomit to whatever. It's all so incredibly intense, and there's so much information, and there's so much to play with there. From sex to conception to death to playing with entities to creating your life to whatever it is. And everywhere that we judge all of the energies and we try to hold any of them back, what does that create and what else is possible? So everything you've done to refuse to have a body that's a sensational possibility for living, would you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Monica, when you asked that question, immediately my body went into contraction because I went, wow, receive all that intensity. And then as you started to clear it, it was like, I'm having an awareness of other people's bodies on the call that just went into contraction. So how many of you guys actually felt that in your body? Like, I don't want to receive that amount of intensity. And then you used all this energy to contract your body, your life, your living into and almost solidify it. And everything that is, would you now be willing to destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Yes. Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. It's funny, when you said that, I heard from whoever, it could be people on the call, entities, but it's like, no, that would mean it would increase the pain. So everywhere where that means it would increase the pain, is that actually true? No. Can you uncreate and destroy that? Or yes, maybe. Can you uncreate and destroy that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys, beyonds. And what if you increased it? It actually would show you a different reality besides the pain. What if the pain is just the control kind of ceiling? That's where you've kind of like put a ceiling. When the pain comes, it's kind of like a, hey, pay attention to this. There's something there. Like, it's time to ask a question to go beyond it. So everywhere where you're not willing to go beyond the pain, also, can you uncreate and destroy that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
And it's interesting. So another thing with that pain is that, there are all of the points of view that we have about energies that are actually what determines whether or not we would say something is painful. So there may be some sensations that to one person they would call pleasurable and another person would call painful, just because it's like, oh, that's so intense. Some people like that intensity. It's simply the point of view. And it's all of these points of view that we use that stop us from receiving,
Yeah.
and that like don't allow us to play with this spectacular possibility of living that is available to us. And especially when you start to look at working with entities or people who don't have bodies like we do, maybe your deceased ancestors or that lady who passed away down the street. It's interesting. For me, a lot of the time what I notice is that some entities are like, wish they had a body. They would like to contact the people that they loved, or they're very possessive of this house that they used to live in that they no longer have the bill of or the title to or whatever. But then, so you have all of these entities that wish that they had bodies, and then you have a lot of people with bodies that wish that they didn't have bodies. Which is like, how crazy can we make ourselves with all of that? Rather than acknowledging, oh my God, look at this. Look at all of these colors. Smell all of these smells. Whoa, there are all of these sensations in my body. How spectacular is all of this? We get to experience this. And not only do we get to experience this, we get to create this. We get to ask for more, and we get to play with more. And that's really where we can jump into specifically the topic of this call, the sex, conception, and death, like all of these transformative, creative, receiving possibilities that are available to us with embodiment. How much have we been refusing to explore the possibilities and the gifts of sex, conception, and death? And everything that brings up in Let's Sound, can we destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
What you were talking about there with regards to, entities wanting to have a body and then people with bodies not wanting to have a body, this is what we call a dichotomous reality. So where two realities can't fit into the one reality, and it creates a lot of conflict in our lives. And when we're actually willing to lower our barriers and go through that intensity, we can have a different possibility and not have to fight for not having a body or fight for having a body. And that way we can have so much more communion with our bodies. So all the dichotomous realities of wanting a body and at the same time not wanting a body, can we now please destroy and uncreate all of that times a gazillion?
Yes.
Yes.
Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, iron shorts, boys and beyonds.
Yeah. It's funny too. So everyone on this call, I'm pretty sure that I can see. Are you aware that you actually chose a body and that you chose to come here embodied in this type of body? And now what if it's like a whole new, things have been changing a lot. I don't know if anyone's noticed on the planet with people with bodies. And what if now is the time? And it's kind of why I get a sense of why this call is coming up also. What can we now change, embody, and conceive of? And what can we kill that doesn't work for us anymore? What can we conceive of, and what can we now receive with these bodies that hasn't even been possible before on the planet yet so far, and in the universe, really? And everything not allowing us to know, be, perceive, and receive that, can you uncreate, destroy it times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
It's so cool, Allison, what you're saying there. I take lots of classes, I facilitate a lot. I'm looking at everything with like, ooh, what's that? What's that? What's that? Asking a bunch of questions. And one thing that I've been noticing recently is that like there's this tendency to facilitate the hell out of everything. And there's a little bit of like, ooh, what do I fix here? What's wrong here that I can fix? What problem is there that I can clear? What question can I ask? Which is an awesome question in my point of view, but I also see it. What question can I ask to fix the problem that I've decided exists? Right. Rather than what is possible? If you didn't have to fix anything, if you were to actually stop judging you, your life, everybody around you, what would you do with yourself?
Yeah, what next?
How would you spend the day if you weren't, figuring out a problem to solve? So everywhere that you've been looking for the problem to overcome and creating the next problem to overcome and the next problem to overcome, eternally overcoming problems, would you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What if it was really about what would you like to choose to create? And that's it. What would you like to choose to create with your body? What would you like to choose to create with your life, with your friends, with your country, with this earth? And everything that does not allow you to choose whatever you would like to choose with ease, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And how much of your body have you built as an obstacle that you must overcome? Everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So if you were to stop building your body as an obstacle to overcome, what would that be like? What would be possible for the creative embodiment that you can be, that you came here to be, if you were to let go of the problems and dive into the joy of the sensation, the sex, conception, and death, and everything that does not allow that possibility of joy, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
It's really funny too. Well, I don't know which part to start or where to start in this thought sentence, but I'll just start with, so I was watching a video from Alan Watts, and he was a philosopher back not too far ago, but he was like, so what if there is no like real purpose of life? What if life is actually more essentially like a song, and like the birth and the living and the death is more like, what if each thing or each day or each 10 seconds can be more like a song? And songs, you don't work the piano, you actually play the piano, you play the guitar, you play music. And what if your life was actually essentially more like that? If it was, and the whole point of a song isn't the end. He's like, if it were the point of the song were the end, everyone would be playing as fast as they could to get to the end, or everyone would just play a finale. But that's not how songs are, and that's not how your life really is. Even though this reality tries to tell you to be born, do what you're supposed to do, and then die correctly. So everywhere where anyone is still on that track, and please feel free, if you like that track, to keep doing that if that's fun for you. But if not, if you would like a different reality, would you allow that to change now? And would you allow us and this class to contribute to that? And the classes in the next week as well. So everything not allowing that, can you uncreate and destroy it times a gazillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Thank you, Alison. In our chat session, when we were looking at sex, conception, and death, it's really receiving, creation, and then transformation. So, and that's like that, like the song idea. It's the receiving the ideas that you can create, and then going ahead and creating them, and then transforming them all the time. And it's not a linear process. It's a process that's always continually changing, and it's very spherical in nature. So everywhere where you have brought the idea that this creative process that we're looking at today of embodiment is a linear reality, will you now just uncreate all of that times a gazillion?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, right, run, pop, on our show, boys and beyonds.
Well, can we all take a moment just to check in with our bodies? Here we are on this call, talking a lot. And what is your body saying to you? What does your body know about receiving, creating, transforming, sex, conception, death? What does your body know about all of this? And what has your body been telling you about all of this forever? Would you be willing to receive what your body has to say? To go out of the idea of, receive the awareness, and actually go into what is that awareness? That awareness doesn't always come in words. That awareness can sometimes come in dizziness and pinches and twitches and densities and all of the sensations that the body is so fluent in. And everywhere that you've been looking for the language of embodiment to speak to your head, would you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh my gosh, did you see that? That just made my body laugh. That's hilarious. How funny is that? Like, there, in that moment, I didn't think to laugh. My body just smiled. And then I get to enjoy the ride of, oh, my body thinks that's funny, or my body doesn't think that's funny. My body speaks that that's funny. How does it get better than that?
Yeah.
Here I can be creating a new possibility for this conversation by being with my body. I can bring in a new energy. I can conceive of a new energy, which is the energy of laughter, the energy of joy. And like, there you have it, this like really tangible way that like my body just assisted for the creation of something.
Cool.
Yeah. How's it get better?
Yeah. How's it get any better than that? Thank you for saying that. I was like, so did you also choose that at the same time? There's like a communion with that. And how many times I was like, yeah, what was I saw something in there. That was awesome. Then I was like, oh, laughter, yay. But, so one of my clients, she had a baby today. And she texted me and she's like, it was so cool because we were like running bars, and access bars is I'm sure a ton of you know what access bars is or are, but it's a body process or an energetic process or whatever you want to call it that dissipates all of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions just by touching 32 points in your head. And you can see that at accessconsciousness.com or look up more about that if you've never heard of it. But she comes in to get her bars run, and so she didn't even know, ooh, God, this is great. So she didn't know that she was pregnant until about 3 months left. She was only pregnant for 3 months. This entity snuck in, like didn't let anybody know. Her period actually had stopped 4 months before, like, she got pregnant.
Yeah.
The conception. So it didn't make any sense. She's like, I don't know why my period stopped. We're like, well, is it like that? Maybe you just don't want periods anymore or whatever. We did a bunch of processing around that. She's like, yeah, it's fine with me. And then, but it was never like, it was like, okay, we'll just kind of say that. It wasn't exactly light or heavy. Then she just didn't have a period for a long time. So after about 6 months, her husband's like, maybe you should just go check and see if everything's okay. Like, this isn't normal. She's like, okay. And they're like, guess what? You're 6 months pregnant. She's like, what? And she was not showing at all. But the day they found out, like, she came in the next month and was like pregnant. So, and so I was like, did you know you can actually ask your body and ask the baby and ask the entity to create this as like total ease? And she texted me today. She's like, it's so cool. Everything that showed up, everything that we asked for happened. I had maybe 6 contractions and the baby slid out because we were talking to her body and the entity and her and POC and PODing all of the points of view about pregnancy and conception and birthing and everything. So I thought that was what a perfect example for today's call. And I totally forget what I was going to say before.
10-second increments.
Yep, 10 gone.
Yeah, how's it get better?
One of the things that came up when Monica was asking that question earlier on, just before she was giggling, I got this sense of, or awareness of a lot of entities behind me that all want to talk, like millions of them. And I was just wondering if it would be worthwhile if anybody else has got that sense of, I think you used the word density, Monica. If anyone else has that, if we could all of us ask all of those entities to move away from us so that we can receive the information and awareness and the clearings that we are talking about this afternoon, this morning. So would that be of assistance for people, or
Yeah, I love that.
That's yes.
How do we do that?
How do we do that?
Well, it in a way, you just did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you just asked for it?
Yeah. And it's interesting too, Liam, because even as you say that, it's like sometimes entities, whether they're your children or ghosts, can come and push up on you when they're like, ooh, I would like to be a part of this conversation. And often what we can do is be like, ugh, leave me alone. Instead, it's one of those everything is the opposite of what it appears to be and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be times where you ask for more space, and that can actually allow for greater receiving. So hold on, back up. I sense you. Give me some space to be able to be with all of the energies of this class, the energy of the clearings, the energies of everybody who's on the call, including the entities that have questions. Nobody has to be excluded here, but we can ask for space and ease.
You know what I would call that?
What?
Having sex with everyone.
Tell us more about that. I sure would like to hear that, Miss Allison.
Well, so if receiving, so in Access, we also talk about how receiving and sex or copulation, in this reality, we kind of, you are a winner or a loser if someone will have sex with you or won't have sex with you. Which isn't actually true. So everywhere where that's still true in your life, anybody, can you please uncreate and destroy all of that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, so it can be more fun. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds, to have or not to have. But also there is, so by creating space and by not putting any barriers up to the entities that are around, and by being totally aware of everyone's energy on this call, embodied, disembodied, you're actually having sex or receiving from everyone and everything involved in this creation, in this conception. And then when it's over, we get to uncreate and destroy everything that it was, and we get to create something brand new again.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, so it's interesting, even with that, looking at the transformation part and the death part and the destruction, that in each moment we get to totally let go of what we decided 2 seconds ago, what we chose 2 seconds ago. And so we're constantly being present by never coming to conclusion, by letting go of all of our plans and paths and, oh, I got to do this now because I said I would 2 seconds ago. You get to destroy and destroy and destroy and uncreate and uncreate and uncreate everything. That it's like in each moment you make a choice. You say, oh, I'd like to go into the kitchen now. And then you go into the kitchen and maybe you forgot why you went into the kitchen, or maybe going into the kitchen lets you know that you would like to go into the living room or whatever. There's never like any ending that we need to come to or any completion that we need to come to. Yeah. It's a constant creation. And part of that creation is changing and letting go of everything that you've expected or planned for the creation to be, so that there's no predictability in your day. There's the constant adventure of now what, and you get to choose what to follow, what to play with, what else to add into the mix without coming to conclusion.
Yeah.
So everywhere that you've been coming to conclusion as much as possible, would you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes, please.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And I love that word so much, conclusion, that it is an ending. And then it's funny because when I kind of tap into what a lot of people are afraid of with death, it's that everything will end. There's the idea of, like, some people have, that you only get one life and you better do it right because you only get the one. And at the and it's death. Death of the body equals death of everything, and then it's over. And so how many conclusions have you been using to kill your life? And everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What if killing your conclusions could actually create your life in every second?
Yeah.
And everything that does not allow for that, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What was that, Liam?
And this is one of the reasons why death is a distractor implant. And a distractor implant is something that has been implanted emotionally or physically, or more likely energetically, in you and your body, that distracts you from being able to step into that, receiving that creation and the transformation energies to create something different.
Yeah.
So all of the distractor implants that are keeping you from sex, conception, and death as something that is a contribution to you, really now destroy and uncreate all of that.
Yes.
Thank you. Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, poc, all nine short, boys and beyonds.
Yeah. Thanks you guys for saying that. So we all just came back from, it feels like yesterday or 10 billion years ago. I'm not sure which one. We're at the 7-day in Malaysia. I'm like, huh? When was that? And a huge topic of that whole class, 7 days of like more change than I've ever experienced so far, was predictable realities. And so whenever you're functioning from predictable, you actually have no other choice except to create a negative reality. And so how many predictable realities are you using to create the sex, conception, and death you are choosing right now? And everything that is, can you uncreate and destroy it times a gazillion?
Yes.
Holy shit. Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys, beyonds. And what would we say? What not predictable realities can you now choose?
Unpredictable.
Well, it was actually not predictable.
I think it's
Was it?
not predictable.
Yeah.
How many not predictable realities in regards to sex, conception, and death are now possible, and can you now ask for that you've never even considered possible before? And everything that allowing that to show up, can you uncreate and destroy it times a gazillion?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Okay. I'm really excited now. So the one part of the predictability of this reality that we may all be very familiar with is just how much is impossible. And so, yeah, exactly. It's like, how much have you been, how much impossibility has been delivered at you your whole life since you were a kid? No, you can't have it. No, you can't do that. That's impossible. What are you thinking? You got to have this job. Not having this job, how will you live? Living without a job is impossible. Blah, 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 blah. So here's a little clearing. How many lies of overcoming the impossibility of your body are you using to validate the lie that if you overcome what is impossible, possibility will exist and dominate?
What?
I know. Everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So everywhere that you've decided that you have to overcome the impossibilities before you can create, would you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What if you could just go ahead and create? Yeah. So how many lies of overcoming the impossibility of your body are you using to validate the lie that if you overcome what is impossible, possibility will exist and dominate? Everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
That's awesome. Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. OMG. You might want to
So cool.
run that.
I think everyone heard it that time or almost.
What was that? Say that again, Liam.
That again.
Okay.
Yeah, run it again. Yeah.
How many lies of overcoming the impossibility of your body are you using to validate the lie that if you overcome what is impossible, possibility will exist and dominate? And everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So what choices can you make today to create what is possible with your body? And everything not allowing that, would you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What choices can you make today to enjoy embodiment and play with and explore and enjoy? And
Even if you don't even understand what embodiment is.
Yeah! Who needs to understand?
It's better if you don't understand it.
Let go of your mind. Just play with your body. And everything that brings up.
And show us.
Going into sex.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Good thing this is a Zoom call. We can watch everyone. Great.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder what those people are doing that aren't actually, they've just got their name there.
They're enjoying their embodiment.
You know.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Cool.
So one of the things with the predictability, I was having a conversation with someone last night, and we were wondering why some people find humanoids, or some humanoids like me, perhaps like Monica and Alison, some people find us a little bit unfathomable and uncomfortable to be around. And we recognize that we're not predictable, that we're always doing something different, and that we never fit into any box. So how many of you have chosen a predictable life so that you can fit into the point of view of other people of what you should be, should do, should look like, should be? And everything that is, will you now destroy and uncreate it all, please?
Yes.
Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, ice shop, boys and beyonds. And how many people have decided that, like, talk to the entities is a predictable class? It's about
No kidding.
Or a dance class is a predictable class because it's about dancing, and you have come to a conclusion and have an expectation of what you're going to get from this class, that class, from a pullover that you buy from a shop, whatever that is. Would you now be willing to recant, rescind, revoke, claim, renounce, announce, destroy, and uncreate all the expectations and whatever else I just said? Good and bad. Good in bed, right, wrong, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Did you just say good in bed?
No,
Good in bed.
It's the new clearing. Good in bed.
Good in bed.
If we could actually let go of all of our points of view, what would we do with our obsessive need to clear things? You could just make requests rather than clearing, right? So good in bed. Boys in shorts, all nine boys in shorts, good and bad.
Whoa,
And
amazing.
The new clearing statement.
I love that.
Request for an orgy. And
I've got my money's worth already.
Everything that brings up, can we destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Well, I would like to just point out that wow, there's a lot to go into around all of this.
So much. I'm like, what? Are we almost done? This is like we just begun.
But in a way, we did just begin, and we've already got a plan for going further with all of this. And
Yes, we do.
even as this call has gone on, I just got some really exciting new ideas that I'm going to run past the facilitators after the call. So maybe there will be some extra bonus offers available. But we
Just like a yes.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to be doing a 3-call further dive into this question of, well, what is it that we said? Shifting the molecular possibilities from finite to infinite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which sounds really cool. To me, sounds cool. And is something that we've been talking about, but we haven't been talking about in this particular call. So I'm curious how much further we can dive into that and what everybody's questions are about sex, conception, and death as they relate to embodiment. So know that next week we're going to do 3 calls, one right after the other, each with a day in between. And I will be sending out all of the details, and I'll make sure that all of the details for that are really easy to access with this video. So we're going to dive further into embodying sex, conception, and death. And as you can see, this topic is enormous. This is like maybe one of the more charged topics of embodiment that we could get to.
It's the circle of life.
Right, exactly.
What more important, profound, significant thing could there possibly be?
Yeah.
Everything that is new and green is straight, tens, a gazillion.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, poc, online shirts, boys and beyonds.
It's interesting to me too how, like, when this call first started, I had a really kind of focused sense of the call, and the more we've gotten into it, the more things have kind of broken up, and the call itself, the class itself is like, oh, we could go anywhere. And so I would like to say thank you to all of you for that. Like, what shift have we created together today already in less than an hour that opens up possibilities beyond the strict, confined plans that we have. How cool.
It's so funny. Mine is exactly the opposite. When we first created this call, I was like, yes! And what the hell is this? No idea. Nope. Now it's like wisps of possibilities. Like, not solid, but definitely not just staring like a deer in the headlights, like, good idea. What are we talking about?
How does it get better than that?
That's so funny. Yeah. And also, so how much time do we have here? Well, we just have, I guess, like about 7-10 minutes left. Does anyone have any asks for the future or anything that we didn't cover, which is like a billion things, but you can even, well, you can ask right now if anyone has, like, we could take a question, or you can email questions that you have for the calls to come. Is there a question?
There is something that's in the chat. Yeah. Can you do some clearings about where we stopped and decided to have and feel joy with bodies and sex and entities? That question is a little bit unclear to me. Is that clear to...
Like, stopped having joy or stopped?
It's Access Goddess. Oh, are you there? I don't know who Access Goddess is.
Access Goddess, speak.
Oh, Access Goddess.
Ooh, hi.
Hey, hi. Can you unmute yourself and let us know a little bit more about your question?
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Cynthia Zuiderwijk from the Netherlands, also known as Access Goddess. It's very early here in the Netherlands, so I was just not with the video. The joy question is about where did we stop ourselves from having joy for whatever reason. What might be has to do with anything we decided about having sex, or with entities, or with including entities and sex, or something around that subject. I don't know exactly, but it's just something I'm aware of and sensing that it can something have to do with sex and joy and not feeling joy, or decided not to feel joy. Yeah. Something like that.
Cool. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah,
And
you're welcome.
yeah, and um, my immediate response, and I look forward to hearing from the other facilitators, is okay, every reason that we have for the difficulties that we're choosing, what if we could let go of all of them without having to clear them, without having to understand them, without having to put them on a list and then burn the list or whatever? What if we could simply say, okay, everything that I've done, everything that I've chosen, now what? Now what? If you know that you have had not receiving with sex, if you know that you have had any weird points of view, the thing is that you are so aware of so many people's points of view, and you have been buying so many of them as your own. If you were to first have to go through and let go of everybody else's points of view that you've bought before you can just have what you'd like, how long would that take? We've been working on this for trillions and trillions of years. What if you could right now, with all of the power and glory of your choice, say, okay, screw all of that. You know what? I would like to have joy. More joy, please, right now. Hey, me, everywhere that I'm choosing not to be joyful with sex, with my body, fuck all that. Now what?
Yep.
So that's my little response.
I love that. And you can play with that in any situation, whether it is copulation or if you are stuck in line at the grocery store or on a plane and it just reeks, or someone's like screaming in your face the whole time. You can choose to have joy and have sex with anything and everyone at any moment. Just ask, okay, if I were truly being me right now, what would I choose and what would I be? And see what shows up. If we were to talk about sex, like copulation, if you're in the middle of some terrible sex and you're like, oh my God, could this please change? You start blaming them, you start blaming you, and then it just doesn't get any better. It's like, okay, you can even in your head, pod and pock everything keeping you limited in that situation, and then ask for what could happen here that I haven't even considered yet, or what choice could I make that I haven't considered yet, or what joy could I invite, or what chaos could I instill that would create a change here. I wonder what could show up, and see what shows up.
Yeah, and what these two ladies, because one's up there and one's down there, have been talking about is also about the language that we're using. They've been using a language of consciousness. And in our question, I notice that Access Goddess said feelings at least twice, maybe more. And what we do is when we actually start to say, like, we'd like to feel the joy, it means that we have to throw everything through our body. And so everything gets stuck in our body by asking for the feeling. Both Alison and Monica were asking a question: what would it take for more of the joy to show up, but not using the word feeling in there anywhere to create that lock-in into the body. So how many feelings are we using to kill the joy we could be choosing?
Hell
And
yeah.
that is times a gazillion will you now destroy and uncreate it all.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Wow. Oh.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
That's amazing.
What a wonderful little question to kind of stir up more questions at the end of this call. Thank you so much for bringing that. And like, also, how cool that we can ask for, hey, what is stopping me from the joy?
Exactly.
What is it? Is it, did I decide something? Is there something that I should clear? What is that? And what if you were to be like, what is stopping that from the joy? And you were to turn and look around and be like, oh, it's me. It's just me. I'm the one. Oops. This is like my favorite apology these days to myself. Oops. Whoa.
I did it again.
Right. If I had known that, I might have chosen something different. Now I know, now I can choose something different. Not, oh my God, I'm so bad, I'm so stupid, blah, blah, blah. It's just, oh, oops. This whole time I thought that something else was limiting me and that I needed to like fight off the limiting points of view and, you know, rather than like just say, okay, me, creator of everything in my world, what would I like? What can I choose now? What can I conceive of with consciousness? What can I create? What can I receive? What can I destroy and let go of, and for the joy of all of those possibilities? How does it get better than that?
How does it?
And we are at the end of our hour.
We are.
So
next week we are having a call, a 3-part, again, well, let's repeat this, 3-part Zoom telecall, Zoom call, whatever you'd like to call it. It starts at a whole bunch of different times, depending where you are in the world, either the 15th or the 16th,
yes. Correct?
Yeah. It's going to be $237 for 3 days of sex. I forget how that goes again. However you would like to have it. Death, conception, sex, death, whatever way, whatever we're going to create. I wonder what we're going to create and where this call will go. And I can't wait to contribute to it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for everybody contributing. You know, like my body was before the call was a little, and now like just with everybody's contribution and the lowering of barriers and the willingness to receive the sex that we've just all had has created a lot more joy for me. So thank you. It's all about me.
Yeah. Can we all acknowledge everything that we did create together on this call? Yeah. And really acknowledge that it is this choice to be you, have fun, choose something different that can change the whole world. How does it get better than that? Right, exactly. How does it get better than that? And until next week, for all of you who are coming on, have a good day.
Yay! Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.